This is my manager interview project. I decided to choose Zach Chavez, who is the manager of Our Daily Bread in Boone, North Carolina. He became a manager during February of 2012. Some background on Our Daily Bread is that it was founded in 1984. It's located on King Street, and they only use fresh local ingredients to make their sandwiches, soups, and salads. They also have some specialty beers, wines, and desserts. What's cool about this place is that I actually read that they decided to keep all the hardwood walls and floors from how it originally was in 1984, which I thought that was pretty cool. Some of Zach's prior work experience to Our Daily Bread is he worked at the Appalachian State University bookstore. He also worked at a sub shop at Elon. This helped him with his current experience now because Our Daily Bread is a sandwich place. He also worked at City Park in Burlington, North Carolina, which is like an amusement park. And he had multiple positions at Our Daily Bread before he was a manager. So he originally started as a cook, and then he was the manager of the kitchen, and then he went on to be a server, and then he wanted to be the server manager, and then he went on to be the general manager. So his path to the leadership was that he's very motivated to grow in the workplace. He said he thinks very kindly of the place, and he just wanted to do his best there. Sometimes he went up to the manager and asked for more leadership positions, and sometimes the managers came up to him and provided some more opportunities for him. So I asked him what his daily tasks were as a manager, and he said that it really varies each and every day. So usually during the opening, he looks at the deposits, checks the social media reviews, makes sure the staff is in check, works on the staff schedule, and helps the kitchen with preparing for the lunch shift. In the afternoon, he helps preparing for the dinner shift. He also helps the kitchen cook the foods that are being made currently. And he also helps roam in the front and ensure that the servers and customers are happy. When he's closing, he looks back at the schedule and fixes any issues that there might be. He also orders the food for the week. That's about once or twice every week, he said. And then he counts the amount of money that they made throughout the day. Some of his goals as a manager is to stay true to who Our Daily Bread is. He wants to keep their values and their mission intact. And so he wants to ensure that good products are made. He wants to make sure that they have great, outstanding customer service. His biggest thing is that he wants his staff to be happy. He said that he really goes above and beyond for his staff. That's actually something that he apparently got critiqued on, because apparently he sometimes goes too above and beyond for his staff, which I thought was interesting. But he makes sure to make it a positive environment for the employees. So I asked him what the most challenging part of being a manager was, and he said the biggest issue is the customers. He said it's because a lot of them will just complain and be rude for no reason, and sometimes some people are just unreasonable, and it's hard to deal with those things. But as a manager, he said you just have to be patient and learn how to work with those kinds of people. And he also said one of the biggest struggles is the modern food trends. And so food is changing every single day. There's constantly new types of trends. I included one of these trends actually in the PowerPoint. This is a quesadilla that they once made. And he said that food trends are hard to maintain because sometimes it's not feasible, and sometimes it's just hard for them to keep making it in the back because the ingredients might be short, or they might just not have enough room for all the ingredients. Another thing was that training is very difficult. He said that most people during the interview, they act like they really care a lot, but then once they actually get the job, it's really hard to keep them motivated and keep them trained. So he said that's been one of his biggest struggles. The most rewarding part about being a manager, he said, is seeing the customers leave happy or being told that they had a great experience. He wants to make each of the customers' experience unique to them, and he wants them to just keep coming back. He tries to incorporate new foods into the menu, and so the customers will learn something new every single day. For example, some of the things are food, different types of cheeses, or different types of beers or wines that customers may have not had before. He also really likes seeing staff grow and develop throughout the restaurant. And so he said that throughout the time the restaurant's been open, he's noticed how employees, especially ones that have stayed there for a number of years, he's seen them go from being shy employees to being the ones who are always talking to customers, or always being the ones that are out there and making sure everything's good. He said he looks for hardworking, confident, and reliable employees during the interview. One of the key things that he looks for is eye contact. He says this makes the person believable, it makes them look determined, and it makes it look like they really want the job. So I asked him about employee conflict in Our Daily Bread, and he said he is thankful because there's not much conflict between people. However, there are some tension between the front and the back of the house because if orders get messed up, sometimes the front of the house can come off as rude to the back of the house, and so that can cause some commotion. But he says he makes a strong point for people to interact and get to know each other, so that tries to prevent conflict. He actually hosts a bunch of events for the employees. I thought this was really cool. He hosts a kickball tournament for the employees. And so he does that, I think, every month or so. He'll make like a different event. And so they've done a kickball tournament, a dinner, they all went to a coffee shop. So I really liked how he like makes an effort to make sure all the employees get to know each other. And for settling conflict, he said if it's in the middle of the rush, he just tries to quickly end it and like he'll get to it later because there's just really no time for conflict during the middle of the rush because everything's so busy and everything's so fast paced. Um, but if there is a person who's commonly the one to instigate fights or conflict, he says he stops scheduling the person. Um, so one of the key things is to make sure you need to listen to people and not jump to conclusions or decisions quickly because you need to hear both sides of the story and what was going on. And at the moment, it may just be easy to just like make that person go home, but you just need to think about it in the long run and think about what actually happened. So his advice to someone who's seeking a manager position is look up. It's easy to get caught up in the business and chaos of the restaurant. Just remember to stop and take a breath. He called managing a beautiful disaster, which I thought was interesting. He explained it being chaos all the time, but if you just step back and look at it, it's really a beautiful thing, and the outcome of it is just wonderful. I really enjoyed talking to him. He was a very personable guy. He seems like he really cares about his employees. That seems to be his number one thing. And you can just tell, especially from like the amount of years he's been there, like he really cares about the restaurant and cares about it succeeding.